Good afternoon, beautiful humans. How are you? Oh my goodness, the light just shifted. Now I look all real white. Holy moly! Holy moly! It's happening, people. I'm going white. I'm skipping right past the gray. Um, you've heard of Gandalf the Gray? I'll be Gandalfina the white. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Good afternoon. Lovely to have you here. It is Tuesday, July 21st. This month is flying by. Um, I can't even keep up with it, really. And we've had some wacky weather, great weather, good weather, hot weather, sticky weather. We've had tremendous rains today. And yesterday I had put out some rugs to hose down and sort of, air out and left them there, forgot. And now they're getting wet again. So I'm going to guess that they're all going to get all stinkadoodled by the time I get to them. But it's still pouring, so they're going to be out there for days. Hey, Karen, welcome. All right, so I think that'll be it for me for typing so I can concentrate today. But hope you guys are well and had a good weekend. Did anybody do anything exciting? I can tell you that. Hold, please. Look at those two little chuckleheads. We're going to be talking about microjoy today. They give me micro, macro, and a whole hoopla of joy. Yeah, you don't differentiate from weekdays and weekends. I don't really. Um, but in my head, I still, so I do a little bit. I think I do. I save certain projects for the weekends. I know it may not make sense, but I do. And I also do things based on weather. So I've spent a lot of time at the dog park with the dogs because it was decent. But there's either something that they're allergic to at the dog park. I was going to say the calmest they've been, but they are scratching like nobody's business and they're going to the groomers tomorrow. So I hope, she can do something to ease their pain. Karen said, I finally got my swamp cooler going yesterday. Before that, it's been, so hot that it was impossible for you to stay awake all day for a few days. Yeah. Krumel says the same thing since he retired. Every day is the weekend. Yep. You live in a trailer, Karen. Yep. It's a metal box for sure. So I actually found online, I have to do some research, but a mobile home that could be put on my brother's property. So I have to do some research on that, but it would be kind of cool. But it's a metal box. So I would probably invest, if we were to do it, I would invest in a split system because I don't do well in the heat. That's why I can't go south. Well, it's one of the reasons. They wouldn't welcome me down south. I have too strong an opinion. So, all right. Well, we are how many minutes into the chat? We're just about 5 minutes into the chat. So, we've been talking about spark and ignition. Oh, Angela's here. Hello, Angela. Body Illusion is here. She made it. She got her notification. Whoop whoop. Thanks, Luce. Luce, if I forget, remind me. I want to talk a little bit about positivity, but that's also part of today is micro joy, and that's July is the month where I focus on igniting your spark, igniting what's going to bring you joy and happiness and that kind of thing. And so today, really, it's sort of the 10-second practice to change your day so that not every day is perfect. But how can we stop for a moment to bring ourselves micro joy? And that's what we're going to talk about. And it's very simple, but I think can be very powerful. It can, oh, you can't sleep. I haven't slept in days. I had to take a nap before I came live. And if it wasn't that I was going live, I probably wouldn't have gotten up. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's the energies. I don't know if it's the dogs keeping me up. I don't know if the bed's just not comfortable anymore. I mean, it's well over 20 years. Well, it's probably almost a 30-year-old mattress. So it's probably time for a new one. Who can afford one? Anyway, that's not what we're going to talk. We're talking about joy, micro joy. So it's a practice that can shift your mood, right? And your energy and your nervous system without needing a full routine or journaling or meditation. Now, you guys know I'm a huge proponent of journaling and meditation. If I'm going to be honest, I haven't been able to meditate. It's going on 3 weeks, I think. Just even when I go to sit down and be quiet, I'm so fidgety. It's as if someone's poking me and nudging me. So, how can I then calm the system, right? Just get the small spark that reminds me that, okay, you're alive, you're connected, chill out, relax, breathe. So that's what we're going to do today and I'll talk about really what a micro joy is. So let me just quickly scan the comments. I fell asleep earlier, also on and off for a couple of hours fighting it. It's hot in here, even with the cooler. Oh, I can only imagine. So having trouble journaling. So Karen, have you seen, I think you have, the journaling prompts that I post every day? Because even if it doesn't apply to you specifically, the prompt is just to get you to write the sentence. And then from there, you could just start to journal. The recommendation that I had talked months ago now was journaling by taking a photograph. And that was the inspiration from Krumel, quite frankly, because he takes photographs, or he used to. I mean, I think he still does. I took one this week of a beautiful butterfly in my garden, and it was sort of a journal in the moment in time. And it was also a micro joy because I was feeling hot and cranky and overwhelmed in the garden. It's the day that I forgot that I was going live, last Thursday, and I had to cancel. I just was like, sorry, we're not going live, because I had been in the garden. I was overheated and overwhelmed because everything is out of control. But it's blossoming, right? Being away, though, for that 30 days for June, I didn't have the opportunity to stay on top of the garden. I also learned a lot about the garden. And as much as it brings me joy, next year, and I'm going to take videos to remind me and pictures, I need to create more pathways so I can get to the areas to weed, to string up either the peas or the tomatoes. My sweet potatoes are going bananas. My white potatoes are going bananas. They don't have enough room. And I do them in grow bags. But anyway, I digress. So the micro joy is really a tiny intentional moment that gives our brain a quick hit of pleasure, of being calm, or just in delight. It's not a big transformation. It's not like this lifestyle overhaul that we're doing. It's a spark, something that interrupts the stress that brings you back into your body. So, an example, Noticing how the sunlight might hit the wall at any point in time, right? Hearing one line in a song that just makes you go, ah, and drops your shoulder, or, get you moving. Um, Petting your pet, smelling something, coffee, tea, oranges, something that, makes your senses awake. So I would ask you guys in the chat, what's one tiny thing today that made you smile for no reason? And while you're typing, I'm going to go to the chat. So, um, Karen said I'd forgotten about the photo prompt of Crumel's. Yeah, it's a great idea. Oh, Crumel says I'm not taking photos at the moment. Oh, because you can't walk, and I get that. That is fair enough. And I hope you can walk soon. I really do. I'm sorry that you're struggling. Karen says, I've seen the prompts. I was also trying to use Oracle cards. Great idea. Oh, do I have mine handy? No, I moved them, so I don't want to get up and start walking around my house to find them. I was cleaning off the coffee table, which is where I'm sitting. Yeah, and you just pick up a book sometimes where you start. Once I start journaling, I'm good. I need to do shadow work and I'm fighting it. So here's the thing, if you need to do shadow work, but you're fighting it, listen to the fighting. It's not, you don't, you're not ready to do the work. So just know that you need to do it, but not at this moment, because whatever the aura, the energy, it's telling you no. And maybe take a moment and just live in the light and the joy. We all have shadow work. And that's a topic for a different day, maybe. But because if you call it shadow work, sometimes people misinterpret what that really means. And as my friend Jimena likes to say, hippy dippy topic. But it's really just, we all live in light and dark. It's a fact. And so I would challenge you and anyone that needs to, look, journaling is supposed to be a tool for you to sort of brain dump everything. But you can also talk into your phone or a recorder if you have one, or however just talk. And then you can go back and listen to it later and either keep it or delete it. Sometimes we just need to say something out loud. It's funny. I got surprised over the weekend by a girlfriend who said, "Look, do you want to go to lunch?" And I said, "Oh my gosh!" Now I had so much to do in my house, but I was like, "Yes, please." And it was a delayed birthday celebration. I mean, my birthday was a couple of months ago, but I haven't gotten to see most of my friends. And when we were talking, I said, look, I've been doing some of this brain dump stuff because, look, I know I'm a good enough person. I'm a good person. I'm very flawed, more than being a good person. But, I've been thinking a lot about both of my parents. And I said to her, I said, I don't think I was as great a daughter as I thought I was, because as I do these brain dumps and I do this journaling and I do this out loud conversation, you go, Now, I was a good daughter. I wasn't perfect. I had a lot of anger issues, blah, 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 blah. We all know the story. But it's nice to say it out loud sometimes. And what my friend did, which I would encourage anybody else, is she didn't say, "Oh, you were really great." No, don't devalue the phrasing, because it's how I feel and it's how I felt at the moment we were talking about it. It doesn't diminish that I loved my parents. It doesn't diminish that they loved me. I was a pain in, well, what do we say? PETA, pain in the arse. I was a pain in the arse, and I had high expectations. Oh, Tupelo Honey, I love that song. I just saw that in the comments. I'm going to have to go back and read them. So I just wanted to pause for that moment, just to give, if you need permission to just back off on the shadow work, I'm giving you permission. You don't really need my permission. I know that. Um, let's see. Richard says, for no reason? Nope. I found a video with music and cats purring. It's been too long since I had a cat. Oh, Richard, I love the purring. Yeah, Tupelo Honey by Van Morrison. I love Van Morrison. So a friend of mine introduced me, um, and I don't know if he would remember, and I don't know if he'll be on here. I'll just call him. I don't want to out him. Uh, I'll call him Dan B. When I was in college, he introduced me to Van Morrison. And ever since then, that's one of my most favorite artists. Um, let's see. Um, there are a lot of sweet kitties out there who need to be adopted. Oh, yes. Okay. You guys are funny. Oh, I'm sorry. Your son is allergic to cats, but when he's grown up and out of the house, but even then, it's hard. It's hard when there's an allergy. So I have an allergy to pets, dogs and cats. My cat's not in every room, and I'm willing to deal with this stuffed up. But these dogs, I have Shih Tzus because they have hair, not fur, and they don't shed. So that's one of the reasons why I can have them. But when I was with my brother and his Goldens, I had a really hard time breathing, a lot of congestion, and irritation, and I still love them. But videos make you laugh. And one of the other things that makes me laugh, um, and I've shared this before, are little kids, really little, even babies, when they giggle, and it's for no reason. Even if you did a peekaboo with them, and they laugh, it's like this uninhibited, burst of joy. So, I definitely think that a moment of joy for me always is petting my animals or watching them do something ridiculous. And when we were in the dog park yesterday, because it was much cooler yesterday, and the dog park needs some weeding. So after they did their business and I picked up their business, I was weeding, and the two of them kept chasing each other around in a circle. And Luca, my little one, grabs Biscotti's tail and he just like it's a toy, and he grabs it, and the two of them, seriously, micro joy. Um, and we all know that music is that always releases stuff. A good show. I watched a comedian. What is his name? Apparently he's dead, but all of a sudden he has popped up on my feed. Ralphie May. Now he's a little controversial, but he comes out with these shorts, or his family's putting them out there. I roar with laughter. And last night, I think it was like 2:30, and I was getting aggravated because I couldn't sleep. And so I turned on the TV, and he was there on one of my YouTube shorts. And I started to laugh, and I'm like, well, I don't want to get all giggly, you know? So great. Let me see. Somebody else is putting some. Same for poodles. They don't shed. Yes, anything with a poodle, any kind of combination with a poodle apparently is less allergenic. But, look, they're a responsibility. I got invited to dinner tomorrow night and to spend the night with my girlfriends that are in Boston. What am I going to do with these two? So I said no. And I'm not just going to drive 2 hours into Boston, have a meal that will go on for several hours, which is enjoyable, but not in the evening. And I do believe, though, the traffic would only be 2 hours. Sometimes it's more than that because of baseball season here. And the traffic, when there's baseball, forget about it. Forget about it. Traffic's a nightmare. but it's too much. And then I would be driving home in the dark. So, all right, let's see. Yes, Karen loves to hear babies laugh as well. It's such a belly laugh. It is. Um, I haven't seen those videos of the guy who goes around singing to animals. I have this telephone number and uh, Milvound. Every concert he is over here. I'm on the side of the stage. Oh, all right. So I'm squinting my eyes, trying to read what Kermel said. Um, oh, you have his telephone number and has been to Mill Valley in Marin County, California. Every concert he did over there, you were on the side of the stage. Wow. Amazing. Um, so, all right. The other thing, that 10-second reset, right? This is one of my favorite things. When we want a 10-second reset to interrupt a pattern, something that stops your brain from spiraling. Sorry. There was a little natty thing that came dive bombing at me. Um, talk about giving you a giggle. Um, so one of the things, and I've talked about this before, it's breathing, taking that, almost thinking about a triangle, right? So you're going to take a really deep breath up, you're going to hold it, and then you're going to exhale it. And you almost think of it as a triangle pattern. Only a few seconds, but you bring in that breath in, usually through your nose. I don't always breathe through the nose, so through the mouth, as long as you're breathing. And notice where it is in your body. Notice that breath. Where's the breath as you inhale? And hold it just for a few seconds and then release it. Or putting your hand on your heart. So the other day, I probably shouldn't share. I've been having a lot of chest pains. And yes, I know I have to go to the cardiologist. He'll get a phone call tomorrow. But what I do is I put my hand on my chest and I just do a little comfort pat, kind of a hug, if you will, just to bring any of the anxiety down. And I really think I just pulled a muscle in my chest. So I don't think I'm having any issues, but I definitely need to get it looked at. The other thing, again, to sort of cool off is touch something. So we are touch sensitive sometimes. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but whether it's a pet, whether watch it not be here. I just had it. I could curse right now. I had a crystal. So I have a crystal. It's smooth. And that's something that you can rub your thumb on, and it's specifically for your thumb. And it just sort of, or rosary beads or prayer beads, or whatever they're all called, beads. Anything that will sort of lower the temperature in your brain, because these tiny resets regulate the cortisol in your body, right? It calms your amygdala and it brings your attention back into that present moment. And it stops you from going over the top. So I would say to you guys, which sense brings you the fastest joy? Sight, sound, touch. Sorry, I have to think about these. Taste and smell. Is there a sixth? Well, so sight, right? Is it color? Is it sunlight? Is it moonlight? Is it sparkles? Is it the way the shadows move? Sound, again, music, laughter, chimes, which is one of my favorites. Touch, warm mugs, like when you have a warm cup of coffee or when I have my iced tea. There's something comforting for me. Cool water on your hands or warm water on your face. Smells, citrus, vanilla, mint. My garden's filled with mint, pineapple mint, peppermint, spearmint, chocolate mint. What's the other mint? Is it apple mint? No, I don't think that one grew. I need new seeds for that one. Or like a candle, something smell wise. And then taste. Talk about mint. I have in my refrigerator a jar of cucumber and mint water that is so refreshing and a reflection of summertime. Uh, Coffee, tea, chocolate, pudding, pie, any of those things. Oh, well, while I've got this. So I would say to you guys, tell me, your sense. I want to see which one wins tonight. Sight, sound, touch, smell, taste. Um, yeah, Karen, the cat spent a lot of time with you. Angela says, yes, I do the comfort pat. Yeah. Humming and singing always helps. Absolutely. Great things. I did a whole chant the other day. Kremel says, every breath you take, every move you make, I'll be watching you. Yep, there you go. And I think I shared this with you last week. There's a guy, I'll look it up and put it on my community post, but he does this little song that is really supposed to help heal your body. And it's every single cell inside my body, every single cell is happy and well. Every single cell inside my body, every single cell is happy and well. I'm so glad every single cell in my body is happy and well. And you repeat that and you repeat that. I did that when I was up in the country with my brother Peter, and we would be hiking up in the mountains singing that song. I was huffing and puffing as I was climbing up the mountain, but I sang that damn song every day. And I've gotten into the habit of doing that as well because I want to tell my body I am happy and well. I am healthy. And damn it, if I have to fake it until I make it, that's what I'm going to do. Karen says, I love things with amazing touchy feely. Yep, you have a big rose quartz. I had it here. I literally was cleaning and I thought that was the one thing I had told myself not to move. And I moved it and I don't see it. So it's definitely on the other table that I put all my gobbledygook on. Krumel says sound, sight, and smells. Yep. Karen says, I am a very visual and audio. Sparkles send sensations through me. Crystal bowls and wind chimes are big. Wind chimes are huge, and there's a channel that I've been listening to try to help me fall asleep. So, sound and touch for Angela, and smells. Spearmint, peppermint, yum. Yep. Ocean waves and water just bubbling gently. I often have it in the background. Yes. And I'll also, if I remember, post the chimes has the ocean also in the background. And it's just therapeutic and calming. Excuse me. Maybe I swallowed that little natty thing. Richard says, I think sight. Not a good afternoon for watching the sun on the lake, but I love that. Yes, I agree with you 100%. Watching the different sparkles on water, lake, river, ocean, and hearing the different sounds, the water movement is really peaceful, but joyful and meditative in a lot of ways, for me personally anyway. I never sent that. Let me take that out. All my hobbies depend on sight. Absolutely. I get that. I mean, I'm going to be starting my paint by numbers pretty soon. And you can laugh, but they have these beautiful adult paint by numbers. And the concentration for me It's very purpose driven, so it's concentration. It helps my brain. When I feel like I'm not able to concentrate, it 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 redirects my brain. It lowers my anxiety levels, so that I don't have any palpitations and I don't get fakakta in the caboodle. Okay, so let me. Oh, great! Kermel posted his channel. I have another fry doing paint by. Oh, another friend who does paint by numbers, and she loves it. Yeah, it really does. Uh-oh, Ben Bacon Bits is in the house. Oh my. Speaking of New York accents, oh, did I come out with oh yes, fakakta in the caboodle. Hi Ben, welcome in. um so the other things with micro joy, right? So the senses are the fastest way for us to shift our emotional state. The senses bypass overthinking and go straight to the body. So, like when you are looking at something, if you like color, if you guys like the sparkles on the water, whatever, sound, whether it's playing the whole song, a line from the song, thinking about it, it's just one thing that brings joy, right? We talked about touching and holding something. I love when I'm peeling a fruit or I'm cutting into watermelon. There is nothing to me better than when you first smell that cantaloupe or that watermelon rind, right? You can smell it. And then just as you cut into it, you can smell the sweetness before you even taste it. Um, and then, of course, taste. And for me, I've been trying to eat healthier. So when I do cheat, like I did this weekend when I went out to lunch with my girlfriend, we got this some kind of triplet chocolate torty thing. I don't even know. They put this huge scoop of whipped cream. And I think that was there a raspberry on it as well? I don't remember. I still have part of that chocolate in the refrigerator 2 days later. I know, shocking that I didn't eat it, but savoring the texture. So it's taste, it's smell, it was delightful. And so what it does is your nervous system responds instantly to that sensory input. This is why microjoy works so fast and why we don't have to go out and do something fantastical in order for us to have a moment of joy. It doesn't have to be that dramatic. So I guess I would ask you then if you could add one 10-second ritual to your morning, what would it be? So like a deep breath before checking your phone, a good stretch that wakes up your spine, which I do most every morning. Um, and I do that also because I have to see where the dogs are. So I kind of stretch my legs one way, I stretch my arms the other way, and then there's like this little puppy yawn that comes out like, no, lady, it's too early. Or a mantra, something that, in the morning that, you know, is a 10-second ritual, even if you didn't know it was. Let's see. Let me just go to the chats. I gotta go. Oh, what did I do? Oh, I thought I closed us out. Shoot, I did not. Thank goodness. All right, hold on. I gotta get back to the chat. Where did I put my eyeglass? Where did I put my eyeglasses? um, where in the world? Sorry, guys. I ended up scrolling all the way back up in the chat. So just give me a second. Um, No, Cromel, it's not a shameless plug. You guys go check out Cromel. He's got some really beautiful photos. Um, Baron von Bacon. Ooh, he's got such a title these days. Sparkle on your pants. As long as that's all that's on your pants, Bubba. Um, yes, he shoots beautiful photos. Um, yeah, I think Karen. So again, just real to just reiterate for those joining, journaling isn't one thing. Journaling is multiple things. It could be talking to yourself on the phone. It could be talking to a friend and just say, look, I need to vent. That's more conversational and therapeutic, in my opinion. So not so much, but I have my phone. I will sometimes just talk something out loud because I need to be heard. And um, I talk to the dogs, obviously, but I like writing. For me, writing promoted other things. When I used to journal, geez, 20 years ago, I would start with talking about my day because I was so stressed. But because I wanted to be a writer, a novelist, it would just turn off and I would go into a whole different direction. And I used to say to my brother, a little funnily, if you will, if I ever die, don't read the journals because I made stories up afterwards as I was journaling, whatever the initial thought process was. You wouldn't know if I was embellishing something because I had an idea. Or sometimes I would burst into poems because I loved to do poetry. And so, like if I die, burn them. And after I had um, my heart attack and knew I was going to have to leave my house, I pretty much ripped up and burned every journal because I never want anybody to find them. Because even the truth in some of those journals would have hurt someone. And I have had people read my journals without permission in the past. So I, they needed to go. All right, where am I? Oh, back to photos. So photos are a great way to do journaling because it tells you what you're thinking and feeling by the shot that you take. We had some storm clouds. I just couldn't capture it, but I'm not a great photographer yet. Karen says, I would also probably print or at least sketch the photo, which would also be healing Zen. Yes, absolutely. Great idea. Doodling. Glitter on the front porch, glitter on the highway. The Love Shack is an old place where we can get together. I could sing for you, Ben, but yeah. Crumel says, sorry, I'm not that tech savvy, Karen. Oh, oh, the ritual for mourning, burning a disco album. Richard says the glittery reflection off of oh God, is that a moon? Looks like a moon. Or a disco ball. Telling yourself you've got this when you first wake up is handy because you're still near a trance mode. Yes, so that's very much like hypnosis, right? And I've talked about that in the past. When you're trying to accomplish something, let's say losing weight, which I'm still struggling with. One of your first thoughts before you go to sleep and when you get up is to repeat every day in every way, I am getting better and better. And then you could add a phrase to it or just stop there. Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better at eating foods that are nourishing my body. Because it's not always just about losing weight. Yes, the result would be losing weight, but it's eating the foods that are going to nourish your body. And I know that Twinkies and Devil Dogs may taste delicious and they might nourish your spirit, but they ain't nourishing your body. And even coffee, I was going to say coffee, even coffee. Um, Having coffee um, is not always the best thing to have in your body, and certain teas. You can't just overdose on these things, everything in moderation. Um, but, you know, repetition and talking to yourself and saying, today's a great day. And I do it all the time because even though I'm trying to convince myself that today is a great day and it's pouring outside, but guess what? It's pouring outside. My plants need the water. And I don't need to spend money using the hose. So it's a beautiful thing. Now, I can't take the dogs out because I open the door and they look at me like, who are you kidding? Um, I have sparkly things hanging in my line of sight. Ooh, nice. Karen says, I did go check his photos, which gave me a wonderful idea, but maybe someday. Yeah, absolutely. I'm squinting again. I could work through some of that shadow stuff by narrating into my phone, then printing it and pasting it in a journal. Absolutely. Look, talking to yourself is not something that's crazy. That's gotten such a bad rap. You know, we are truth tellers. And the only way to be a truth teller is to speak the truth. Now, doing it journaling is one way, which means typically or traditionally writing. Conversations with Christy. Christy used to have, well, I'm sure she still does. She had these journals and she filled them with pictures, oracle cards, something that meant something to her. She made this a very like creative, outrageous journal that ends up being like so thick. It wasn't just one thing. So, I used to cut out tons of things from magazines because I did have visions of grandeur of how I wanted my home to look and um, beautiful things that I wanted to someday afford. I wasn't just one of these people that was going to come easy to, but I thought if I manifested it, if I cut it out, I did that with a piece of jewelry for years. I got close to that ring, but when I really sort of scanned the internet for that ring that I was looking for, it was so ridiculously expensive. I was like, yeah, okay. And I, what do they say? You put away childish dreams. Not that it's childish, but at this one of the things that dying for that time period taught me, your things don't go with you. What brings you joy today? What are you willing to sacrifice to have it today? But know that whoever's coming to clean up after you is tossing that crap. Just saying. And I do this every day. When I go through my things, and you all know I've been on this organizing, decluttering, because I moved from a big house to a smaller apartment, and it's roomy compared to most apartments, I would imagine. But if I were to pass, my brother will come in and bring a dump truck and it's all gone. So whatever I thought was so precious, short of a handful of things, and he's been in my home, he knows what's important to me now. Um, of course, my mother's paintings, he would never just toss. But all the girl things, he wouldn't even know what jewelry is important. So it's like, and I don't really have a lot of jewelry that's worth money, but I have a few pieces that are worth a little something. So I'm like, you get to go to Manhattan, take it to the jewelers in Manhattan, get whatever whatever they offer you. Don't go to like 12 jewelers. Go to one that's reputable. Take whatever they give you. And then I said, take my ashes on vacation. Take my ashes and put me in every garden you can find, so that I get to, be with all my favorite flowers. Um, let's see. Ben says it can be writing death before disco. And if that doesn't work, I can type all work and no play. Make Jack a dull boy or Ben a dull boy. Carmel says, I have my crystals and minerals right yes in front of you. Yes, I have a whole bunch that are upstairs in my second room where the cat spends most of her time. And once I get my bedroom decluttered, they're going to come back into my bedroom because I love crystals and I love minerals. They're just, I love, I'm forgetting what they call them, prisms, right? Prisms that they can twirl and capture the light and leave little sparkles on your wall. I love those prisms. In my old house, I had a stained glass, really pretty. And that you want to talk about light hitting the walls differently there. Uh, I need to look that up. I think it was something different in the book. Okay, something went over my head there, unless he's talking about Death Before Disco. Yeah, I think we're all the same. We need to put things in sight that we want and think about the things that really do have meaning and know that if there is something important that you don't want to just be tossed, maybe you want it donated. Make sure you say donate because seriously, the person that comes behind you, I mean, all my furniture he's going to toss, right? In some capacity. Um, my brother knows that I'd like it to be donated. So the vets will come and pick it up. Big brothers, big sisters will come pick it up. Just put it out there so someone can, it's not crap furniture. It may not be la creme de la creme, but if you don't have a couch to sit your ass on, mine's pretty good. Um, and I have a beautiful dining room table that I know my next move I'm not going to be able to take with me, and a beautiful hutch, and certain things. But then it's what's in it. Nobody wants my china. Breaks my heart. I've been trying to give away my china for years. The youth do not use china. They don't want it. They don't care about it. It doesn't mean anything to them. I think what I will do is start to use mine as everyday china. Just use it. I just loved setting a beautiful table. And I used to just do it on special occasions, but if you don't host anymore, and I don't really host a lot, and maybe that's something I change, but in the interim, it's just sitting in a cabinet. And I had a setting for 20 because I used to host 20 people, mostly my family or a friend that came with somebody. You know what I mean? So I always had enough china for everybody so that no one felt mismatched or an afterthought. Granted, I didn't get it all at once, but so it's time to get rid of it. And yeah, we'll see. But I also had beautiful wine glasses that were etched with grapes, just clear. I had gotten them from Williams and Sonoma, I think, years ago. And again, I don't drink, so that's kind of funny that I have wine glasses up the wazoo. But I had boxes of them because I was going to have the bed and breakfast, and I would be hosting, and blah blah blah. I was preparing. And so those are just things that didn't come to fruition. So it's time for it to go. Um, and I don't want things just to be disposed of. My clothes I don't care about. I'm like, donate everything I have. My books at this point, donate every book. I used to want them to go to all sorts of places. Just donate it. Um, and I think I told you I had an addiction. People drink. I had a Coach bag addiction, and I still have the collection that I have to get rid of. But I refuse to just dispose of them. Some of them I've never used. So but my brother would never do the legwork to sell them. Okay, where are we? I'm just going through. Oh, you have them arranged in a showcase, Carmel. Nice. I still want to see the remake of that movie, but can't be anywhere near as scary as Jack Nicholson. All right, I missed a movie something. A movie reference? Hold on. I think I'm missing something. Hold on, guys. Let me see if I can catch up. Teresa, maybe you could sometimes do photo prompts for journaling. Yes, good idea, Karen. And I will. I'll start to do that ASAP. I've already scheduled the next series but I have tons of photos that I think that's a great idea. Okay. I still want to see a remake of that movie. I don't know what movie you're talking about. Okay. Dun dun. Vision board. Yep. Tell the lower part of your brain that whatever you're looking at is important. Absolutely. I am overthinking journaling. Maybe I need to just do it different each day. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ben says, I know that if you're trying to value something new, I just keep checking. I just keeping a checklist, whether or not you did it, even if you didn't, helps your brain to make steps towards whatever it is. Yes, that's true, Ben. I didn't know there was a remake of The Shining. I wouldn't watch it anyway. That terrified me for decades. Let's see. Elizabeth is here. Hello, Elizabeth. Thank you for joining. I'm just trying to finish catching up in the checks. I don't want to feel like I've missed anybody. You have to be careful with prisms. They can cause fire? Is that true? Oh, no. All right. The creme de la creme with everything and Yul Brenner. One night in Babcock. Ugh, something. I didn't know that about prisms, so really glad that you mentioned that to me. Yes, Elizabeth, it's really important to just use the things that are special to us. For a long time, I had oracle cards and decks, tarot decks that I figured, well, I'll wait for a special occasion. I'm like, to use them. Why? Now I've got a whole bunch that I have to find. I'm not using them. I'll use the oracle cards, but I'm not going to really use the tarot cards. So I have to do something with them. I'm not going to just throw them out. So probably in the fall, I'm going to do a little bit of sort of a tag sale thing, and I'll just post on Marketplace. I'm having a tag sale. Here are some of the things that will be on display. So those that are interested in those things would come. Host Ben. Oh, my gravy. You are funny. So, Karen, I have an issue with books. I have read series multiple times, depending on the book, um, and loved certain authors. And even now, I can't find some of those books anymore. Now, I could go to thrift stores and I could probably, but it's not worth it to me. So, I remember keeping books of series, and some of these authors had 20 books, 30 books. Um, I used to save every Dean Koontz book. Um, I fell in love with him when I was in Boston, and I had read a Stephen King, one or two of Stephen King's, and there was a case where it was a local bookstore, so they were promoting other writers, and Dean Koontz hooked me from the beginning. Another one was David Morrell, and he did espionage that was breathtaking. And then there were a couple of others, authors. We could go through them all over, a lifetime. And I regret some of those books that I had to donate and give away or threw out. When I was moving, I had crates of books that were supposed to be picked up. And when I had to be out of my house and nobody came to pick them up, they ended up in the dumpster, and it broke my heart. I actually said to the guys that were picking up all the trash stuff, I said, if you want to take these books, please do. And one guy was like, are you serious? I'm like, take them all. Nothing would give me greater joy. If you want to sell them later and make money, I didn't care. I just didn't want them to go into the garbage. And I can tell you, I've literally spent thousands of dollars on books. Thousands of dollars on books. Don't regret it though. Even all my CDs over the years that I had, and my DVDs and videos. Hi, Biscotti. He's checking me out. I think he's like, who are you talking to, Mom? But anyway, and again, thousands of dollars, and now they're all gone. I've kept a handful, but most TVs don't have any connections. I don't have a VCR anymore. We talked about this last time. Now that we're talking about it, I remember I have to look for Echo for the connection for the computer for DVDs. But laptops don't come with it anymore that you can just pop a CD or a DVD in there. So it's, times have changed. Um, let's see. Oh, Angela, Coach bags. Oh my God. Was hard. Karen says it was hard for me to get rid of all my college textbooks. Oh, that was easy. I kept text, physics, and calculus. Oh, those were easy to get rid of. You kept Shakespeare. I have a library room. Oh, Cromel, I'm telling you. I had a room filled with bookshelves, filled with books, thousands in my old house. And so it really did. I probably still have, I would say 500. Out of the thousands that I have, I probably have 500. So, and I know people say, well, I do have a Kindle and I have a Nook from Barnes and Noble. Not the same. Not the same. But the joy for me, if we're going to bring it back around to the micro joys, the micro joy is I go in, nothing for me is better than the smell of a book. I know it's a little corny, but the smell of the book. And some of it comes from memory, right? Or connection or purpose, right? So thinking of someone that you love brings you micro joy. I think when I talk about my auntie Rose, 94 years old, 93 years old, and I call her, I try to call her every week if she answers. And the way that she remembers me is I always say, Auntie Rose, hi, Auntie Rose. And she may not remember my name right away, but she knows it's me. And the joy that it brings me because she giggles every time. And I know there's going to be a time where she's just not going to remember me anymore, but that's okay. Right now she does. So that's the joy. remembering a moment that either you felt proud or I remember seeing my nieces and nephew for the first time. There's a couple of memories that I have that are really precious to me. Those bring me micro joy. Um, Being with some of my girlfriends, I've had the best girlfriends. The saddest part is that I'm so far away from them that I don't get to see them more often. Because we laugh out loud over nothing. I mean, everything and nothing. Micro joy. Um, Saying a phrase that grounds you can bring you either micro joy through meaning or inspiration, or permission. So I'm allowed to slow down. I can choose again. I flubbed up. Choose again. Do it again. It's okay. Um, I think those special moments, they strengthen emotional resilience, I think. And they remind your brain that you're supported, that you're capable, and you're connected. And that's what I personally strive for is connection, right? So, what's a micro joy that you forgot that you loved? So, opening the window when I drive the car and I feel that breeze coming in. That's something that I forget until I do it. But we're so used to all the windows are up, air conditioning or heat's on. We don't open the windows as much anymore. We've talked about music. We've talked about smelling fresh fruit. Um, I so I had given a very special blanket to my brother's friend. Somehow the dogs got at it, but there was enough of it that he made two small stuffed animals, one for me and one for my brother. I tell you, it sits in a spot that brings me joy every bloody day. And I have bird feeders outside in my garden, and watching those birds for 15 seconds, 20 seconds, a half hour, whatever it is, watching their communication, micro joy. So I think sometimes joy is just hiding in the things that we stopped noticing. And I think one of the things Elizabeth said not too long ago, the more intuitive me is Elizabeth, by the way, sorry. One of the things that she said earlier was, just highlighting that what's special and not forgetting that. So I just want to see if I'm missing any comments. Hold on, guys. Let me just scroll over a second. And so another great thing, Elizabeth. Yes, I used to hang on to the special jewelry. One's from my mom, one I had got when my grandmother died. I usually wear my Mother Mary, but the chain is a little it's been acting funny. I don't want to lose that gem because it's over 100 years old. So I don't want to lose that. And so yes, I started wearing my jewelry. I used to only wear rings on special occasions. I'm like, girl, going to the grocery store, I'm wearing my jewels. And there's no special outfits anymore for a special occasion. If I like the blouse or the dress or the slacks or the sweater, I'm wearing it, unless it's got Christmas bells on it and it's July. Oh, Ben, I'm so glad you like Dean Koontz. I was waiting for somebody to say, who the hell's Dean Koontz? He did horror, but it was a good horror. I don't know. I loved it. We should do an author thing. Would you guys want to talk about your favorite authors just for shits and giggles one time? I love talking about my favorite authors. I go the spectrum from literature to vampire to fairies to espionage to the healing energy books, of course. and the self healing journey books. Um, I'm sure someone could do a psychological study on the crap that I read. I even have some, I don't know if I would call it religious, but religious based or theme based books. Some that would probably get me thrown out of churches and um, let's see. Oh, Professor Khan's in the house. Hello. Chattyverse. That's us. Oh, you sniff your decks. So I bought incense that I keep outside to chase away the bugs, but also inside. So I have lemongrass that perfumes my books, that perfumes my living room. I have lavender. What was the other one? It was like a garden smell. It was just tremendous. Yes, last week Cromel shared with us that he still has his records, cassettes, his VHS, his 78s. He had all of his wacky things that he has saved over the years from his music. Um, Karen says, I need audiobooks these days to help stay focused, and I buy used hard copies. So I do buy, I mean, I don't buy any books now. I'm not allowed to until I catch up and read the ones that are unread. So I have a bookshelf that is all unread books. So until I get to those, I can mark the ones that I want to buy, which I do have in, thank God for Amazon. I know everyone's not always a fan of it, but I can put in my cart and then save for later or wish list of all my books that I will get to. It used to be that by the time I finished a book, that I knew that that author in a year or two would have another book in the series, right? So I always kept them ready to go. But no, I cannot buy another book until I finish the ones that I've read. And I was given a gift. Oy, 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 I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Let's see. The best dog in the world. And so it's famous authors. I why am I having a hard time? It's famous authors that have written about their dogs, their essays. So I just got it as a gift. I can't wait to read it. And it's people like Isabel Allende, Jodi Picoult, Amy Tan, Emily Henry, Tova Mirvis, who I don't know, Adriana Trigani. Oops, I'm looking it upside down. Paul Yoon, Roxane Gay. There's tons. Nick Trout. So anyway, I was just given that book, so that's an excuse. But I had also received a $50 gift card to Barnes and Noble, so I've got to spend that, but not today. Um, let's see. Yeah, nothing smells better than paper books. I'm just saying. Yeah, it's the micro joys that bring in the gratitude. And that's what we wanted to talk about. And one of the things that I'm going to be doing moving forward in conjunction with our friend Body Illusion is just reinforcing positivity. We can find negative anywhere. How do we talk about positivity? How do we talk about music? How do we talk about whatever it is and sharing it on our channels? So that way we get to say to you, hey, here's a little micro joy from my perspective. I call it a micro joy. Um, Loved intensely Phantoms. Oh, yes. Oh, Ben, we could talk about this forever. I love those books. Yeah, so Karen, I've heard this from other people when they were smokers and they had books. Everything in your house will smell like cigarettes. Fact, not fiction. Um, And I used to say that to my dad when he was still smoking. He didn't believe that everything in his house smelled. I'm like, it just is. It's a fact. So um, I mostly read sci-fi and fantasy and then some science physics. Karen, you've got some taste, girl. Jung isn't easy for me. I find it fascinating, but it loses me wee noggin. Yeah. Well, so a lot of where I live, bookstores have shut down. Um, really, I could go to Walmart, and Walmart doesn't have a selection that's worth it for me. Um, so it's pretty funny. I mean, ironic that um, I was a Barnes and Noble aholic, and in my little town in the city in Boston where I lived was a privately owned bookstore, and they used to have famous authors come. And I remember meeting, oh, two authors. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I remember the name of the book. I don't remember the author. I will as soon as I type it in. Oh, Anita Diamant, The Red Tent. Now, it's a little bit of religious history and a take on women at that time period. But I remember reading her. Did I meet Alice Hoffman? I may not have gotten to meet her, but she was there. Um, anyway, it, and I got tons of books from there. I got all sorts of little nicky knack tchotchke things from there. Um, and I think what I love about bookstores is they will highlight authors that you've never thought to even, like, you can't get that from being on Amazon or even Barnes and Noble bookstore online. You have to be in the store. And when I would go into the store, one of the first things that bookstores did for me was they introduced me to authors I never would have considered reading. Dean Koontz would have never crossed my path. Neither would have David Morrell, who I was fascinated by. There's another one that's right at the tip of my brain here that's all fuzzy. But oh, what is his name? What is his name? What is his name? There was one, it was set in Egypt. It'll come to me. Phenomenal books. As a matter of fact, I think I still have them upstairs. So I'm going to bring them and share them with you. Some of the books that I love to read. And yeah, I would spend hours in it. The Red Tent. That's right. That's right, Cromel. 100%. And the library is great, but one thing that I don't like about at least my local library is they don't highlight. You have to go in knowing that you want a specific kind of book, or they will say, okay, so the science fiction's over there, but there's no highlighting an author, right? And so that's what I love about tables of books. And when I was in the city, they would have places that you could go and flip through on the sidewalk. You know, they'd have books of the day or whatever. And I knew they were trying to get rid of them, but oh my God, books bring me joy. So, all right, we're getting close to the end here, and I think I'm a little bit over time here, but let me just, I think when we think about a micro joy without making it a big production, just pause. Like, I have this lemon custard ham cream. Every time I take a little bit of it, and first of all, I love the title because it's got custard in it, but I put this cream on my hand, and it is this fresh, clean, lemony smell. Micro joy. I have another one that's fresh cream that just smells like a delicious dessert. Joy. I only want us to focus in, and my hope is that what you take away from it is to just, if something for the moment, you're hearing a good tune, you're driving your car, you have your window open and you hear some laughter, um, just take a moment and appreciate that, because I think that's where the micro joy comes from. You don't need to make a plan. "Ugh, I need to be happy today. Okay, what can I do to make myself happy?" Forget that. Walk outside. Even right now, I think I can take the dogs for a walk, put my raincoat on because it's just sprinkling, and I will walk with them, and I will have that moment of joy watching the two little butts swing down towards the dog park. Um, I'll see the clouds, which I love clouds. And that brings me to a memory as a little girl laying in the fields behind my house and staring up at the clouds. And then all of us would point to the different clouds, my brothers and I, what we saw. None of us ever saw the same thing. But once in a blue moon, we would. Um, oh, Cromel, I envy some of your trips that you got to take. Um, You love the old and famous libraries in Paris, for instance. Oh, never had those pleasures, but I can say that going into when I was in Boston, going to the Boston Public Library, phenomenal and magical to me. Um, Karen went to the library in Alexandria. Wow. Yeah, it is said that kids will never know the slow life that we got to share. I agree with that, Ben. I think that I do watch my neighbor with her kids. She takes them to every free event that's in this community, and a lot happens at the library. She doesn't allow them to spend a lot of time in front of the TV or on their devices. I actually don't even know if her kids have devices. I think her son does, but he's on a very limited playtime because she wants his butt out of the house and playing. Now, they have the fancy toys, but so much of what kids today, your vacations are centered around go, 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 go. There's no just sitting and relaxing and playing, right? Um, Now, I was alone. I was in a neighborhood of mostly boys. I think I've shared this before. So I would sit in the tree, a maple tree by my home, and I would read books. And my nana had a lot of books, a lot of romance books. I learned a lot of stuff before time. Um, and but I loved to escape and go somewhere else. That was the beauty of books for me. Sitting at the library, and I went to a Catholic school for 8 years. Um, so they had all sorts of, you could sign up for a book club, and I got all the Nancy Drews and Hardy Boys, the series, and there were other kids series that sparked me and got me interested in that kind of stuff. Um, and then when I went to high school, um, you had summer reading, and I read things like Madame Bovary. I never would have written. I would never have read that book on my own because I wouldn't have known to. It challenged me to read books and titles of things that I never would have crossed my mind. And then I remember, I think it was my uncle, one of my uncles had told me about Sid Arthur, which is one of those books I've been trying to get us to read together and talk about. But you have to be in the right headspace to read Sid Arthur. But I remember reading that, and that's what initially got me started on a different way of thinking. And I have to say, I still have that worn out copy, very thin. And then I used to read. Um, did anybody ever read Jonathan Livingston Seagull? Um, by, I just had his name in my head. can't remember his name. Hang on. I'm going to come up here. Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Yes, here it is. Richard Bach. Loved him, and he did a series on that. Loved it. Again, these were people that were sort of inspirational. Oh, you bought the audio? Nice. Yeah. Cursive. I don't even think they teach cursive writing anymore. I think it's just print. I don't even know. I mean, a lot of it is all typing now, and you just print the page. I remember being in college. I didn't even have a typewriter. So it was handwriting that sucker. Wow. So, they won't know those things. You're right, Ben. So anyway, I just wanted to share a little bit about Microjoy. I don't believe I'm going to be going live on Thursday. I have a couple of appointments, and considering I have been having some issues, so let me handle those. But I'll be back next Tuesday. If anything changes, I'll let you guys know. You'll get an invitation to come join me on Thursday. So other than that, thank you all for being here and participating. And for those on the replay crew, thank you so much for being here and commenting. Let me know what you liked, and let me know what your microjoy might be. And I hope to see you guys again soon. Have a great rest of your day, your evening, and I will see you so soon. So may you be blessed with love, with light, with healing, with compassion, with joy, sprinkled with a lot of laughter and giggles. Until next time, you guys, be well. Thank you for being here. It means so much to me. Bye, guys.